Okay, for this one, it says, according to a research agency, in the fourth quarter of 2015, only 1.2% of cell phones in the world use a Windows-based operating system. A random sample of 33 mobile devices was selected, complete parts A and B. Okay, so first we're doing the binomial distribution. And remember, we talked about in class that binomial distribution, you need to know N, P, Q if you're doing it by hand. But we're going to use Excel here. So let's look at Excel. The reason we want to use it is we want to determine the probability that fewer than 3 devices or use this operating system. So that means we want the probability that x equals not 3, but 2, x equals 1, and x equals 0. So if we were to look at this probability distribution, I'm just going to show you a normal distribution here. Let's just say that 3 was right here. Okay? We want to know the cumulative probability all the way up to 3. So we want it to not equal 3, but we want the probability all the way up to 3. So we could say we want the probability all the way up to 2.99999 or even more. Okay, it's going to round, so it will be okay if you don't put a lot of 9s. So let me show you how you're going to do this. You're going to go to equal binom, binom dist, that one. And then it's going to tell you need the number S. This is going to be X in this situation. So we want it to go all the way up to almost 3, but not include 3. So I'm going to put 2.99999. And then the trials is N. So N in this problem, N is 33. Because it tells you a random sample of 33. Okay? The probability of successes. Alright, so it tells us in the problem the successes is the using a Windows-based operating system. So P is going to equal 1.2%, but we have to change that to a decimal, so 0.012. Now, this cumulative, if you're wanting it to be any number up to 3, all the way up to the number 3, well, all the way up to the number 2.9999, you have to do the cumulative probability. If you only wanted the probability that it would be exactly 2.99999, you would select false, but we want cumulative. And so you can see here that the probability is 0.993 because we're rounding to 3 decimal places. Okay, so that is the binomial distribution. Now let's look at the Poisson distribution. So we are going to go in and put equal and then find Poisson, Poisson. And we need x, which we already discussed that x is, well, let's make sure. It may have changed. That fewer than 3. So x is still going to be 2.99999. And then the mean. We were not given the mean, but we can figure out the mean because it says that 1.2% of cell phones use Windows. So if we have a random sample of 33 and we times that times 0.012, that will tell us how many cell phones, the average number of cell phones that will have Windows and are on the phone from our sample. 1.2% of our sample will have a Windows-based operating system. So if you put that in, and yes, we want cumulative again because we want it all the way up to 2.999, and so we get 0.993. So I think that will be your best fit. Sorry, not 0.992 using for this problem using Excel, because it would be too time consuming to use the formula when there are multiple probabilities you need to find. Please let me know if you have any questions.